Hi my darlings, I'm Sophie Darling and welcome back to the channel. If you love anime, heartfelt reactions, and deep dives into symbolism and themes, then you're in the right place. Before we jump into today's reaction, don't forget to hit that like button to show some love, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment of fun. And if you want even more exclusive content like early access to my reactions, full-length anime watch-alongs, and an amazing community of fellow anime lovers, please do check out my Patreon. Your support truly means the world as it helps to keep these reactions coming, and I'd love to have you join our cozy little anime family. Today, we are reacting to episode 4 of series 4 of Attack on Titan. We've got a glimpse of who can only be Eren. Now that they've shown his eyes, it's Eren, without a doubt. But I've said from episode 2 that this was Eren because the armband was on the wrong way. Only someone who didn't grow up in an internment camp would get that wrong. If you've been wearing an armband since birth, you would know which arm it's on and the right way that it should be. That was the biggest giveaway that he's not from here. And then we also witnessed baby Reiner, Bertold, and Annie, and that was heart-wrenching and heartbreaking. And seeing Reiner attempt to kill himself but deciding that he can't do it because he still has to protect the children, and his mission now is to make sure that they never go through what he's experienced, that he has to somehow prevent them from repeating the same cycle of trauma. It's just so beautiful and heartbreaking because Reiner only does what he does for everyone else. He puts everyone above himself. His own needs come second, and that's why we're probably seeing him have such a difficult time with his mental health, because he's not prioritizing his own well-being. He's prioritizing everyone else around him. He's taking on that big brother role because he wants to protect those who are weaker than himself. He wants to stand up for those around him because no one stood up for him when he needed it most. No one had his back in the same way. So he wants to be that protector, that motivator, that big brother, that support network, because he never really had that. And now he feels like he needs to be that for everyone else. My poor baby. Again, keeping the intro short because the outros will probably be super long. And I do tend to pause quite a lot now that we're in series 4. Not so much in the last episode. There wasn't really much to pause and discuss. It was kind of all contained within the narrative itself. Obviously make comments here and there, but I didn't really feel the need to pause as much to like properly discuss things. But episode 1 and 2 I paused quite a bit, and I imagine as the series goes on there'll be some episodes where I can talk a lot about, and there'll be other episodes where there's maybe not as much going on because it's mostly action. It just seems to be the nature of the game with Attack on Titan. Some episodes there's a lot to talk about and some episodes not so much. But without further ado, we're gonna get into episode 4. Why is he running? Falco, what are you up to?
ファルコ、頼みたいことがある。何ですか、クルガさん。手紙を送りたいんだが、この収容所。
Eren Kruger, you little shit.
そうですね。いいですよ。家族宛てですか。
He's stolen the name.
俺がここに無事にいるって伝えたいだけなんだ。
Okay. Is he gonna open it and read it? No, he's a good kid. He's just posting it for him.
おい、何の騒ぎだ。
タイバー家ご一行が来訪されました。
なんだ。
Yes, the final Titan. Are we gonna see it? Oh, they have a different uniform.
マーレ軍ではありません。タイバー家に属するこの。
I've seen those helmets before. 19th and 20th century by Prussian and German soldiers of all ranks. And I was like, yes, I've definitely seen this helmet. Was it used in World War One? Possibly. Okay, so the helmets were used at the beginning of World War One, and then they stopped being used because they weren't as effective, and the spikes made them a target because they were easily identifiable. So they were replaced by the German steel helmet. But I knew I'd seen those helmets somewhere. I was like, I've seen those helmets. So the reason I recognized it is because there's a famous portrait of Otto von Bismarck who wears that helmet. So he was the imperial chancellor of the German Empire. So he oversaw the unification of Germany and served as its first chancellor. Okay, so I had to like look up the picture to make sure that I wasn't going crazy. It's very interesting seeing the influence of World War One and World War Two being introduced into Attack on Titan. I like World War Two history. I'm not like a massive military buff, so don't quiz me on that information, but I do find it interesting. So I do know bits about World War Two because I find it quite fascinating. And I think the older I get, the more interested in World War Two I am. Seems to be a thing. But I loved history in school, so that's why I recognize the helmet. Sorry, I just had to go on a little tangent there.
どうぞ。
God, he's tall.
急にすまないな。私がタイバー家当主ビリーだ。
There's a lot of children.
当初より戦士隊を束ねるあなただ。見抜けましたか？一族の誰が戦鎚の巨人か。
いいえ、見当もつきません。本当にここにお越しになっているのかさえも。
Just the way that they're being treated in comparison to the other audience. It has to be to do with the fact that the Warhammer Titan has never been outside their family and is never likely to be outside of their family, and they're scared to cross them. I know it was used to actually force the king to build the walls to begin with. It pushed them that far back. So clearly it is a threat. It is probably one of the fiercest titans we're going to see in this show. So I wonder if that's going to be the reason why they have preferential treatment. They're lords. They've kept a noble title. They have their own military force that's separate. They're not Marlians, they're Oldians because they have the ability to shift. Just the deferential treatment that they're receiving in comparison to how they speak to the other Oldians. There is definitely a reason here as to why they were allowed to maintain their title, their authority, their control in exchange for maybe compliance. Maybe there was a compromise. Maybe they were allowed to keep their land, their title, and their authority and their position within society in exchange that they will allow the Malian government to call upon them to use their titan as and when it's needed. Maybe that's the compromise that they've come to. Yeah, that's crazy that they're living in luxury as Oldians whilst others are suffering. That they've been able to maintain and establish authority and control, even to the extent that the Marlians have to treat them with respect, which we've not seen them treat any other Oldian with the same respect. Even Zeke has been spoken down to. This family fascinates me already.
話に聞いた通り思慮深い。しかしいますよ。戦鎚の巨人は。
It's gonna be the baby.
ここにはヘイロス像を見に来たんだ。100年前、人間でありながら大地の悪魔を打ち破り、世界を救ったマーレの誇る英雄、ヘイロスの勇姿を。
ええ、まさしく。銅像の中は空洞ですし。
隊長殿は手厳しいな。噂ではマーレの徴兵制復活を働きかけているとか。
マーレ人の戦争とは新聞の活字にのみ存在します。字を読むだけで領土が広がるのだから楽でいい。
But not
鉄
participate
砲
in
玉
it.
を浴びるのが手なずけた悪魔の末裔や亡国の民ならなおのこといい。実際マーレ人に弾が耳の横をかすめる音を聞かせたところで、この国は自戒するまで戦争への歩みを止めない。
察しの通り、この国はタイバー家の権限下にある。だがマーレが軍国主義の道を歩んだのは、あくまでマーレが選んだことだ。我々はマーレへの贖罪として自由と力を与えた。
So you condemned your own people to oppression. You participated in the systematic destruction of your own people. And you're controlling that from the background, from the shadows. You gave them freedom and power in hopes of atoning for the sins of the past, but in the process, damned your own people to suffer, to be oppressed. Fuck me.
私は来たる祭事において世界に全てを明かすつもりだ。英雄像を見に来たのは嘘ではない。マーレには再び英雄が必要なのだ。
おはよう、ポコ。
Is she okay?
ピーク、何やってんだよ。
こっちの方がしっくりくるんだ。びっくりさせちゃった？
巨人は南からやってくる。その意識
I
が
love her.
壁の
She's
北
so
側の山
sweet.
岳を歩くほど守りは薄くなっています。
では北側から叩くべきか。
That would scare
そ
me
れは
though.
一つの手でしょう。我々の物量を生かすなら。
では南か。
ですが南は調査船団を失ったように
Yeah, because the scout ships have been disappearing,
いる可能性もあります。
probably interrogating them for
何が言いたい
information.
のか。
私は私の知り得る情報をご参考までにと。
わかった、もういい。エルディア人に喋らせた我々が間違っている。
抜いた。ファルコがガビを抜いた。
He's pushing.
一度勝ったくらいであの騒ぎだ。まったく、こっちの気も知らないで。
They're just kids. How can they?
ガビの優位は動きませんよ。
But he's doing all this to protect Gabby as well.
ファルコが初めてガビに勝ったんだよ。
成績で
かけっこで勝っただけ。
これは歴史的快挙だよ。
もうやめてくれ。恥ずかしくなってきた。
They're so cute.
次の鎧は坊主で決まりだ。
Oh, she's so angry.
貢献したんだから。
鎧の継承者を発表していない。その日が来るまで、俺はやることをやるだけだ。
It's to protect her,
何のためにそこまでするの？
to save you.
お前のためだよ。
あら。
Oh, my boy.
だぜおい。
はあ？私の邪魔しといて、私のためだって言いたいわけ。
You don't
わかん
understand.
ないんだけど。
伝わんなかったが。
He's so cute.
何あいつ？何なの？
Oh, he cares about you.
選手ちゃんたち。
お前は俺たちの救世主だ。ガビー。
いや、私ゾフィアなんで。
Wrong one. Wrong child.
昼間から酔っ払って女の子に抱きついて。このじじい。あんたなんかに称えられちゃ演技が悪いよ。
Little
ほ
cat.
ら、とっとと母ちゃんのとこへ帰んな。
That's you told.
あんたらはこれを持ってきな。たんと食べてブラウン副長みたいに大きくなるんだよ。
本当にこの収容区の中で宣戦布告をやるのか。
お祭りってのもやったら世界中が味方になるんだって。
それじゃあマーレの問題は全て解決して最高だな。
無理だって思ってるの？
語尾は違うのか。
It's not gonna work.
先月まで殺し合ってた中東連合の国々も含まれるんだぞ。俺の一家は外国の収容区から移ってきたからわかる。ひどい目にあった。
私たちは悪魔じゃありませんって。
どうやって？
She's so adamant in showing that they're more than what the world thinks they are, but in the process, she's still repeating that ideological rhetoric.
私これ素だから。
じゃあお前はどこを直すんだよ。
はあ？私はありのままで問題ないでしょ。可愛いし頭もいいもんだから悪魔に見えてきた。
あんたら今度ファルコひいきしたら泣かすから。悪魔じゃねえかよ。
おめでとう元帥殿。軍はあなたのものだ。
いいえ、軍は国家のものです。そしてこの国の最高司令官はあなたです。
それは少し違うな。私はソーダリンを握ったものだ。先代の誰もこれを握ろうとしなかったのがわかる。重すぎる。たまたま順番が回ってきただけの男なんだよ。
その者どもによると、我が家にはすでにネズミが入り
So
込んでいるようで
he's
す。
a figurehead. He's not actually in charge of the military,
ク
right?
レーガーさんのおかげですよ。それでも迷わず突き進めそうです。
そう
Keeps going to speak to him.
感謝したいのは俺の方だがな。何度も手紙のやり取りを手伝ってくれて。おかげで助か
He's unknowingly made this child into a traitor against the Malian
そ
government.
れは家族の方からですか。
病院の生活は退屈だろうってな。祭りが終わったら故郷に帰るとするよ。
What are you planning at the
そう
festival?
ですか。先生が来ます。
俺行きますね。
区の診療医のイエーガーだ。ここにはたまにお茶を飲みに来る。
His granddad.
はじめまして。クルーガーです。
His granddad, right?
クルガー君。先ほどの少年とは仲がいいようだね。あの少年の叔父はエルディア復権派の幹部だった。復権派は楽園送りにされ、その家族も例外ではなかった。少年ら兄弟も家族を守るために戦士
So again, the cycle repeats, doing everything they can to protect their families.
によってようやくグライス家は安泰となった。
なぜ俺にその話を。
Try not suck him back into this.
おかしな疑いをかけられてはグライス家の努力が無駄になってしまう。もう会えなくなってからでは、後悔を残してからでは遅いのだ。
God, the music is so good.
後悔ですか。家族に悔いがあるようですね。
About his daughter
後悔し
and
ない
his son.
ことないよ。あの日息子は妹を連れて壁を出た。
It's his granddad.
私が普段から厳しくしすぎたんだ。医者をつけと私だ。すべては私が。
フレガーさん、勝手に出歩かないでください。
すみません、少し目を離した間に。
Is he a doctor? Or is he in there for the mentally insane and still believes he's a doctor, so they allow him to pretend to be a doctor? Or maybe he is a doctor, but I don't know, it's just a way that they said, oh, you can't be out here alone. It's kind of like, is he a doctor though? Or is he maybe mentally broken due to the guilt and regret about what happened with Grisha and Faye? Family of nobles that revolted against Oldia in the Great Titan War 100 years ago. They joined hands with the Marleyan hero Helos to overcome the Oldian Empire and bring an end to the war. As nobles who have long possessed the Warhammer Titan, they have guided Marley for many years and hold significant influence both domestically and abroad. Currently, Willy Tybur is the head of the family. So that's why they're in the position that they're in, is because they betrayed their own people and as a result were able to bring an end to the war, but have also allowed their own people to be subjugated and oppressed and have sat in a position of influence and power and have done nothing about it, have just been conspirators in the oppression of the Oldian people. Disgusting. Disgusting. Still fascinated by this family, but complicit, 100% complicit in the suffering of the Oldian people. They're making it out like a game. Typical kids.
なんだ、汚れたちが皿を運んでいるぞ。ああ、通りで飯が2本分けた。
申し訳ございません。騒がないで。しかし、立派なお召し物
She's
が。
trying to protect him.
いかがなされました？
お恥ずかしい。
Oh,
ワインを着物にこぼしてしまいまして手を借りていましたの。
she's trying to protect
こ
him.
れは大変です。どうぞこちらへ。
Is she?
どうして。
She an Ackerman?
あなたがどんな目に遭うかわからないでしょう。
大丈夫か。
She's tried to protect him. Maybe she's related to Levi and Mikasa.
東洋から来たヒーズル
There's an A on her back as well. Oh, what a sweetheart she is.
しかし、昨日の敵は今日も敵。いや、失礼。昨日の敵は今日の友。過去にあったことは酒とともにトイレへ流し。
Oh, he's pissed everybody off in the room.
それでは末永き平和に。
ありがとうございま
Yikes.
す。大使殿のジョークは大変高度な代物でした。明日は皆様をレベリオ収容区に招待させていただきます。そこはかつて多くの国の民を虐殺した中でも最も虐げられたマーレはその悪魔を使って他国を虐げ悲劇は繰り返された。 エルディア人の根絶を願う気持ちはよくわかります。その回答を明日、私が初演出を務める舞台で
What are you up
披露
to?
させていただきます。偉大なる劇作家と
I can't
歴史
tell
の
whether
目撃者に
he's a good guy or a bad guy. What is your plan? What are you up to?
これは
ガビやっと起きたか。
この状況は何？
祭りだよ。食え。
これが祭りか。
I love that we get to see this more humanizing side of the audience in Marley. Oh. He's gonna be broke. Just wants them to be kids and enjoy themselves.
お前が欲張りじゃねえや。
なんだかね、最近初めてのことばっかり起きるの。
そうだな。
なんだか何かが変わりそうな気がする。
Oh, more than you realize, Gabby.
そうだな。
More than they realize. More than they realize. I didn't see a to be continue, so I've skipped the ending.
お、楽しんできたか？
あれ？ファルコは？
さっき知り合いを見つけたとかでどっか行きました。
大丈夫かあいつ。
He's gonna get himself in trouble. Not intentionally, but
あれ？戻ってきたよ。
ブラウン副長、ちょっといいですか？
he's gonna see Eren.
いいんじゃない？まだ開幕まで時間あるよ。一体どうしたんだ？
行けばわかりますよ。
They're gonna see each other for the first time in 4 years.
来ましたよ。
よう、4年ぶりだな、ライナー。エレン。
Why? 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 What? Why would you reveal yourself? What have you got planned for the festival, Eren? Because he's confident enough that Reiner's not going to say anything about him being here. Or that Reiner's not going to do anything. He's the founding titan. This is a big, dangerous game to be playing, which means there's something more up Eren's sleeve. Because Eren wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't already something in motion, something planned. I just realized I made a mistake. She can't be an Ackerman. She's definitely of the Asian race, which Mikasa's from, so she could be connected to Mikasa. I've just remembered that Mikasa's mother isn't an Ackerman, it's Mikasa's father. I completely blanked on that. So she's most likely not an Ackerman, but she's probably connected to Mikasa. And she obviously has sympathy with the audience because she protected him from being caught out. She didn't want him to be punished because she knew that if they saw that he'd spilt wine on her, that he was going to get in trouble. I'm just really curious about this festival and what's going to be said. What is the narrative that is going to be pushed here? Because it seems like Willy is conflicted. And this is why it's really hard to read him, because he seems morally conflicted. He talks about generations that came before him holding the wheel, and he wants to let go with this wheel, but he can't. It's fallen onto him. And when they say the military serves the nation, nation's supreme commander is you, and he says, that's not true, I'm simply the one who holds the wheel. Meaning he doesn't actually feel like he has any control or power. He's just kind of a figurehead because of what his family did in the past, which was betray Ordia to bring an end to the Great Titan War by weighing on the side of the Marleyans. Maybe this is a family history that he's come to regret, and possibly the narrative that he perpetuates isn't a narrative against paradise, but is a narrative against the Malian people. But would he be so bold as to do that? Especially when it's very obvious that others are not content with the Ordian people either, that they still have the same horrendous stereotypes and resentment towards them. See, the thing is, with Eren's grandfather, Falco said, oh, a doctor's coming because he's dressed like a doctor. I don't know if he is a doctor because when they saw him on his own, they were very like, oh my God, we have to go get him. Almost as if like he can't be left unsupervised because maybe he is the doctor, but he has fits of insanity where he's giving into the guilt and regrets of the past, or they just allow him to pretend to be a doctor, but he's actually here as one of the mentally unstable because of the psychological break he's had due to the guilt he feels. We know that he does leave because he was there to greet Zeke along with Zeke's grandmother. So I don't know. It was just a bit weird that they were very like, oh my God, you can't be on your own. Where did Eren get the baseball? Why is Eren got a baseball? Why is Eren got the mitt? What's that for? Is that to assimilate, to pretend as if he fits in, or what? Why does he have that? And then when Willy comes on, he starts talking about, you're invited to the internment zone. It's the home of the people whose blood run through me. He talks about the Marlians using the audience to oppress other nations and repeat the tragedy that they have experienced through being oppressed themselves, that they're replicating this cycle. So he recognizes that and he's openly speaking about it. This idea of arriving at a single solution that will answer this endless problem and recognizing their desire to exterminate the audience, but then again showing that the Marlians are the reason the audience are hated is because they've weaponized them to conquer other nations. It's very fascinating. I don't know what Willy's going to do, but that witnesses of history. It's almost as if Willy wants to break the cycle. He doesn't want to repeat what's come before, as if the burden of what's happened in the past is weighing down upon him. Because he says, we gave Marley both freedom and power in hopes of atonement. Was that because they believed it was for the benefit of the audience? That if they helped Marley end this war, that all audience and Marlians would be able to live in peace as one? And that didn't come to fruition. And maybe there's resentment and guilt that as a consequence of them siding with Marley in the hopes of the audience living equally alongside them, that they've then been oppressed and mistreated. Maybe this is Willy's way of atoning. Maybe he feels like he needs to atone for that sin. Very curious what Eren's getting up to here. What is Eren doing? What is Eren up to? There is something at play because he wouldn't just reveal himself to Reiner, with Zeke especially so close at hand, and there not be a bigger plan. Why Reiner specifically as well? Now I just want to know what's going to happen. Why Reiner? Unless he's begun to understand that Reiner is more on their side than he appears. Maybe he thinks he can get through to Reiner. Maybe... Oh, maybe Eren's going to use this festival to declare war on Marley first. Maybe they're not going to give Marley a chance to declare war on them, and that maybe Willy's solution to prevent this cycle from happening isn't one that ever gets to be heard, because Eren takes matters into his own hands and starts a war before Willy can propose the solution. Or maybe Eren jumps the gun. Or maybe Willy is proposing war, but I don't know. Maybe Eren jumps the gun here. Maybe there was something that could have paved the way for peace, and Eren doesn't allow it because Eren believes that they should make the Marlians suffer for what they've subjected the audience to. I don't know. I'm so conflicted. This is exciting. This is ramping up. And it was just so sweet as well to see them all being kids and Reiner enjoying them being kids at the festival and seeing them smiling, spending his money on allowing them to have treats, letting them just be children for one day. Gabby says it feels like something is about to change, and it's just so prophetic in terms of, yeah, everything is about to change. War is coming. And I don't think a war is going to be prevented 4 episodes into season 4 because it's been building since season 1, everything is about to change. Life as you know it is about to disappear because war is going to come to Marley. Instead of Marley warmongering on others, war's coming directly to Marley and the citizens of Marley. And they're not going to be able to avoid it. They're not going to be solely reading about it in their newspapers without any understanding of what the true cost is. It's going to be at their doorstep. They're going to be the casualties and victims of it. Marley is successful. Marley wins. But at the same time, they're not seeing the casualties. They're not seeing the cost of war because it's not them that's suffering. It's the audience that are suffering. And I think very shortly, Marley is going to be the one suffering. The Marleyan citizens are going to see the true cost of war, not going to have that luxury of distance because Eren's not going to allow that. Eren is here for a reason, and I think it's to declare war on Marley. I think it begins now, which is probably why he's seeing Reiner, because it doesn't matter because he's gonna start a war now, so it doesn't matter. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye.